Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a great night, and I'm risking it with Kuna sleeping under me. So I want to go over, we've had some questions in the different rooms about how you do the initial consultation or the first visit without staff. Like technically speaking, what are you doing? Not technically speaking, like what's the word I'm looking for? Logistically speaking, what do you do? And so I have my papers here that I go over with my practice members, and I wanted to share that. The other thing that I wanted to say is if you have any questions or need any support, please post in the group. That's what the groups are for that we're creating here. We've got a big group, which is Staffless Practice Community. And then if you're in the club at Staffless Practice or you're a SOUP student, we have the club at Staffless Practice. One thing that I learned yesterday, which was a great aha moment, is that even if it's a post that I don't think is going to go very far in the group, I'm just the gatekeeper. So I'm going to lift the gate and I'm going to let you guys at it. I'm learning as we go. So here's what happens with a new practice member. The first thing that happens is I'll get an email saying, delete. The first thing that happens is I have a virtual assistant who knows to look at my schedule at the end of every business day to look at the next few days to see if there are any new people who have booked an appointment. Because in my software program, it doesn't give me an alert if somebody books an appointment. They're working on it, but I don't have that. And then she creates a card on my Trello board. Each new practice member gets a card, and we'll give them the first name and then the letter of their last name so that we're respecting HIPAA. And then that practice member will then get a canned response email that my VA sends out, and we have a whole checklist on all of this in the Trello board. And the canned response email says something like, hey, we're so excited. Here's the link to fill this out. Here's the link to fill that out. We're so excited that you chose Lights First Chiropractic. End of story, goodbye. Then I have my telehealth call, and during one of the questions that came up in our group is like, what are you actually typing into or writing on during the telehealth call? I really like pen to paper. So I have a whole notebook, and basically what I do with my notebook is I'll circle the date. And this is like January through December. I got this on Amazon, right? It doesn't matter what notebook you have. I just like this one. And then I write the person's name, and I write everything that I take my notes on this because I need pen to paper. And I may transcribe this into my software program. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And then they get email 2. Email 2 will tell them this is where my office is. The first email is this is what your telehealth call is going to be all about. And then I have the telehealth call with them where my job is to listen, right? These are the things that we're going to go over. Does that work for you? And let me listen to what's happening. Then they come to the office. We do their exam. I do their analysis. I give them their first adjustment. I'm a chiropractor, so make this relevant to you. Then they get email 2. Here's where the fun starts. At the end of the first adjustment, education is huge for me. It may not be huge for you, but I want somebody to understand why when they start getting adjusted with chiropractic, their life changes so much. I feel like I owe that to my profession or my craft, to the history, to the seed planters of my profession, to at least carry on the history of chiropractic and explain this is what a subluxation is, this is what I do, this is what I don't do. Does that work for you? So I go through, and this is for me and my craft, I go through the safety pin cycle with my practice members, and I say, I explain the whole thing. This is your brain, this is your spinal cord, the signals go, and when you're subluxated or stuck, the signals go and they get stuck or they get bombarded or whatever it is. I explain that. And then I say, this is what I found today, and I actually circle on this paper where their main subluxations were. So my point to this is there's pen to paper during that visit, with their in-person visit. They go home with all of this stuff so that they can go home and read it. And then what I do is I give them this sheet. This sheet is where it all comes together. This sheet says, these are the main things I found on you today. This is how often I want to see you. This is my frequency. In my office, I start with 12 visits. I do 12 visits at a time. So this is your frequency. This is how many visits. These are ancillary recommendations. And if I have ancillary recommendations, I'll write them in here. I used to type this. I've done so many different things to make this work. But when it comes down to it, if I don't have staff, taking pen to paper is the best thing for me. And then what I say to them is, okay, everything below this line, you go home, you got homework. I'm going to send you email 3. This is the 3rd email. Email 3 is not only going to have a video link giving them a tour of my office and everything I want them to know about being a practice member here at Lightsource Chiropractic, including things like this is where the snacks are, this is what you do with your keys, this is where the bathroom is, this is how to grab a piece of face paper, this is how long you're going to be here, all of the things, right? But I also tell them in that video, tell me on this sheet, what are the times that you prefer to have your appointments? And then I say, do you want to pay in full or do you want to pay each time you come? And then I say, are there any family members who you want me to check out? And then I say in the video, take a picture of the sheet and text it to me in my HIPAA compliant texting line. And that's what we do. And then my VA grabs this picture and she processes it all for me. So I used to have an assistant that did all of this stuff. I had an assistant, maybe 2 assistants that did this stuff. I definitely had an assistant do the notes. And now it's all, the only thing that I need to do is my pen to paper part, go over my findings. So when I go over findings with a practice member in their report, I do it all in one visit because that's what works for me and my practice. I schedule that outside of my regular adjusting hours, so nobody else is here in the office. This is my office, you guys, right? And usually it looks like a big party. There's a lot going on. There are kids everywhere and babies everywhere and moms everywhere, and they're all chatting with each other. During these times, these appointments, I'm just here with the person that I'm working with. I hope that that's helpful for you. The other thing that I wanted to mention is somebody was asking last night about when you're using a specific program, how do you do X, Y, and Z? So I'm still old school, guys. I love my paper. You just have to make sure that your paper lands in the spot that you need it to land in to be compliant with the laws in your state or your region. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I did go ahead and just create the link for my 101. If you want like the basics for what staffless practice is all about and like the 3 things that you really want to think about when you go staffless, go to soupschool.com/101 and it'll give you the basics. And I'm loving you guys from here. I hope you're having a beautiful night.